All
Ladies and
right.
gentlemen, today is a very, very special day. I have with me the F&I goddess herself, Miss Kimberly Klein, and we wanted to review, I think it's 5 or 6 questions that a lot of our viewers and community members seem to have in regards to some of the F&I process. So, without further ado, did you want me to ask question number one, or would you like to ask question
I'll
number
tell you
one?
what, I'll ask you question number one.
Okay.
Okay, so the first question is, Ray, why do I have to show the dealer my driver's license before I go on a test drive?
Well, for a multitude of reasons. Number one is
Yeah.
they want to make sure that you are who you say you are.
Oh,
Uh, Number two, they want to make sure that you actually have a valid driver's license because God forbid you go for a test drive and have an accident, and it turns out you don't have a valid driver's license. Things just got uglier.
yeah.
And number three, they want to make sure you're of age to be able to actually go out, drive a car, and negotiate on a car deal. Because if you're under 18, you can't legally sign for a car. And so salespeople or sales managers cannot legally be negotiating a deal with you. So those are 3 reasons why a dealership would ask to see your driver's
It's
license.
not to see my weight, right?
Well, that perhaps if they have a bet going on in the back office.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think he's 205. No, no, I'm going with 195. Let's see who's close. No, no. Now it's my turn to ask you a question.
All right, go for it.
Um, okay. Can I and when do I refinance my car?
We get this question all the time. As long as there's no prepayment penalty, always ask the finance manager, hey, is there a prepayment penalty on this loan? Then yes, you can refinance your car. I always tell people to do it when you get your first statement in the mail. And the reason that I tell you to wait until you get your first statement is because, Ray, you and I both know there is a processing time here.
Yes.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of paper. There's a lot that this loan has to go through to be completed. So don't throw a wrench into things, pardon the pun,
Yes.
because I have seen nightmares happen whenever somebody tries to go off the next day or the next couple of days and try and pay that loan off with their credit union loan right away. People wait until you get your first statement. That way you're safe. The loan has been processed. You have a number, and then your credit union will call and get a 10 to 15-day payoff using that information that has been processed. So just wait until you get your first statement and then refinance and get a better rate.
Thinking about getting an extended warranty? Go to joinyaa.com and check out our pricing there. There's no obligation, no spam, no robocalls. YAA for your extended warranty.
All right, I got one for you. You ready?
Yes.
When should I fill out the credit application?
Well, if it were me, I would tell you don't fill out the credit application until you have agreed to the transaction. Now, a lot of dealerships are going to go, well, we want to know your credit beforehand so we can make sure that we don't quote you payments that you won't qualify for.
Right.
Okay. Which is great because they just really want to know what they're dealing with. You should have done a little bit of research on your end to know where your credit falls. And so you can assure them as to what type of credit level you would be at if, in fact, you decide you want to finance the vehicle. You haven't made that determination yet. And once you've agreed to a number, to an out the door number for the vehicle that you want to buy, at that point, I would suggest if you want to look at getting a loan, at that point, I would fill out the credit application.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I
Does
think
that work for you as the finance manager?
it definitely works for me. It definitely works for me. And people should not just hand over their information for a credit application before they've even negotiated the price of the car. End of
Yeah.
story, right? I mean,
Yes.
yeah,
And you don't need the dealership running your credit until you've agreed to buy a car with them.
exactly.
There's no need for them to do that until you've worked out the numbers and you've agreed to buy a car. Now
Bingo.
I've got one for you.
Okay, shoot.
Okay, how do I know that they aren't ripping me off in the finance office?
How do you know? All right. Here's how you know. You're going to go through Deal School 2.0 first of all, okay? But
Yes,
secondly, you want to be sure before you leave that office that the bottom line on your bank contract, which is about this long, and the
yes,
bottom line of your purchase order, buyer's order match.
yes,
The buyer's order is going to itemize everything out for you, generally starting with the purchase price or the agreed upon sale price of that
yes.
vehicle. It's going to add in taxes, tags, title, any fees, and then it will break out any products that you purchased. Make sure, don't be that person that gets home and then 2 weeks later you're going through your paperwork saying, oh my gosh, what's this? What's this? What's this? Look at it before you leave the finance office. Those two documents, your bank contract and the bottom line of your purchase order,
Must match.
they got to
Please
match.
make please make sure they match. And if they do,
Yeah,
then at least the finance amount, they haven't ripped you off. You just want to make sure that way they haven't added anything they weren't supposed to add.
exactly. You got it. Okay, I got one for you. You ready?
Yes,
When do I let the dealer know that I have a trade in, Ray?
after you've negotiated the price on the new vehicle, after you've got an out the door agreed upon price, because your trade is a separate transaction from buying the car. And what I mean by that is figure out the price of the new car you want to get
Uh huh.
and then say, okay, you know what? I think I might possibly want to trade in my car. Let's do an evaluation on my car. And now let's negotiate the value of my car, how much you're going to give me for mine. They're two separate transactions that then get combined into one transaction.
Ah,
And this is the point where everybody has the same goal. People don't realize it, buyers don't realize it, but it's at that particular moment that the dealership has the same exact goal that the customer has. And that is this: the customer wants to buy the new car as inexpensively as they possibly can. Conversely, the dealership wants to buy the customer's trade in as inexpensively as they can.
hmm,
Same exact goal. Now, in order for it to work, both parties have to be able to formulate a compromise that works for everybody. So, you negotiate the trade in after you've worked an out the door number on the new car.
like it's a separate like the trade in is a separate thing, right?
It's a separate negotiation. Absolutely a separate negotiation. And then once that negotiation has taken place, the new bottom line will reflect whatever that trade allowance is, less any amount owing. Or in some cases, if you owe more than what it's worth, plus the overage that you still owe. And so that will impact the out the door price that you've established, but it should only impact it because it shows either a tax savings for having traded in a vehicle or the amount of equity that you've now applied to the bottom line.
Gotcha. And all of that's going to be reflected on the purchase order in the finance office. That's something you'll check on, right?
Exactly. And once again, the bottom line should match on the purchase order and the finance contract.
Gotcha.
Now I've got one for you.
Okay.
What is a fair price on menu items?
Ah, okay. All right. So know this. When it comes to the vehicle service contract, which is generally the very first one that's going to be offered to you, the markup that it's 100% up to the finance manager as to how
Hmm.
much they mark this up. And it's going to be anywhere from $1,000 to $3,500 in markup. So
Yes.
that's how much room you're talking about to negotiate. On all the other products, things like key care, dent and ding, maintenance, tire wheel, other products, generally the range of markup will be anywhere from $350 to $900 of markup. And so that's about how much room you've got in there. A fair price would be knock $300 off of it right off the top. But the vehicle service contract is the one that's got the most markup in it, Ray.
And if I may, if you were to go to joinyaa.com and
Yes,
look up a service contract for a vehicle, you could get an idea as to what it would cost if you were to get one through us. And bear in mind that our service contracts are marked up $500 over cost. So if you have a vehicle that you're looking at buying and the service contract is $1,850 and the dealer is trying to charge you $3,600, you can just use ours as leverage to get them to reduce the price of theirs if you decide you want a service contract.
exactly.
At least this way you have a better understanding as to what the markup is and what the margins might be.
You got it. We have more people that ask us why ours are so cheap instead of asking why are they so expensive in the finance office. So
Yeah,
that tells you something there, doesn't it? But
well, yeah. I mean, because people like to believe that they get what they pay for,
yes,
but sometimes they get taken advantage of when they're paying for something, and we're
they do.
trying to prevent that.
Yep. We
Yep.
want you to negotiate, negotiate.
Yes. Remember, everything in life is negotiable.
It is, Ray.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think I have the t-shirt for that.
Uh, well, Kimberly, I want to thank you. I hope the people out there found these 6 questions valuable information so that they can use it when, I don't know, when they're at the dealership looking to buy a new car and looking to finance and how to take advantage of all that.
100%. Yeah. And if you have any other questions, reach out to us at joinyaa.com. Join our community. We have lots of good stuff over there. And Ray, it has been a pleasure as always.
Thank you, Kimberly. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I'll see you soon, okay?
Okay. See ya. Bye bye.
Bye.